There's the Adelaide Oval for all you AFL nut jobs out there. A lot of people accuse Adelaide of being a bit boring. What do you think of the balls?
They're huge.
And there's the Adelaide Central Market. Adelaide is one of two planned cities. And then right next to your sandstone building, you've got big, tall apartment tower. Back on the waterfront here. Port Adelaide, another industrial city. The building looks empty. There's like nothing going on here, is there? You got an old rotten building here, and then you got brand new houses over the back. Cross over onto the beach and have a look. This is awesome. I love this.
As Tennessee whistling.
And this is Hindley Street here. Lots of bars, lots of clubs. Who's this guy? Why, hi everyone. I've teleported to South Australia. Welcome back. Oh, nearly got run over again. Geez, this happens to me in every video. Always get run over. I might do that again, hey?
Yeah.
Hang on. We are in Adelaide, aka RAD-elaide, aka City of Churches. I'm here with Henry. Say hi, buddy.
Hello.
So we are here for the weekend. We're here for a couple of days only, and we just flew in from Melbourne today. It is almost the middle of August 2025. We're on the River Torrens, right in the middle of the city. Very nice day. There's the Adelaide Oval for all you AFL nut jobs out there. Would we consider ourselves AFL nut jobs, Henry? Probably not.
Yeah,
We do like the AFL, being Victorians and all, but
we've been there 2 times ourselves.
I did grow up in New South Wales, so that actually makes me more of a
NRL
fan.
Yeah.
Yes. Go the Panthers. Anyway, paddle steamers over here. Do you have to swim to get one of those?
Oh,
Probably.
at least make a bridge.
Exactly. So we've got the convention centre over there. We've got the Intercontinental Hotel. This is right on the waterfront here. Then we've got Sky City behind the Festival Hall here, which is pretty much the centre of Adelaide. If you look across there, that's North Adelaide, which we'll go into a little bit more. And then down this way, we've got the Botanical Gardens. Just going to go for a bit of a wander and see what's happening, hey? As I figure out my camera again. I still haven't figured this thing out. You think after all the recording I've done so far, I would have figured out this camera, but I haven't. And you know what? Maybe I never will. Maybe I'll just use the camera forever and still not really know how to work. Anyway, it's Friday afternoon. It's about, 15 degrees. It's very nice. Flight from Melbourne to Adelaide takes about an hour. It was a very quick flight this morning. So yeah, the plan will be to visit some of the beach areas. We'll delve further into the city. We'll go and have a look at like Rundle Mall and stuff like that. And yeah, we'll just kind of just play it by ear and see how we go. We don't really have a specific plan in mind. Yeah. And the river is not as brown as the beautiful Yarra.
I wouldn't call it beautiful, but okay.
I agree. Yeah. It's not as brown, and it's pretty cool. What are these things in the water here?
I think they're supposed to be like paper boats or something.
Cities love a good art installation, and I'm not knocking art installations, but I do wonder how much that costs and what else you could spend with that money. And this is the skyline of the city. There are a few more towers behind, but that's about as tall as they get. It is a shorter building type city, kind of like Wellington in that respect. You saw my Wellington video, you'll know what I'm saying. However, this city is about I'm going to guess and say 1.3 to 1.4 million population. So probably about 3 times the size of Wellington. And about a fifth of the size of Melbourne. A fifth of the size of Sydney.
Is it as big as Gold Coast though?
So the Gold Coast population would be smaller than Adelaide, but having said that, on any given day in the Gold Coast, it would probably be, the tourists included, maybe about 1 million people in the Gold Coast on any given day. So maybe Adelaide's just slightly bigger than that. Gold Coast has a lot bigger towers though.
Oh yeah.
They've got all those big towers on the water, including the Q1, which is one of Australia's tallest towers.
I was about to say that.
They've got the spire that gets them to, I think it's like 320 odd meters.
That's tall.
And in Melbourne, you've got the Australia 108, which has got the tallest roof, or the tallest floor level at 318, 316, 318 meters. There is the Adelaide Oval, folks. So you can walk on that roof. Costs about $200. But yeah, you can go up there day, night. It's pretty cool. If you like roof climbs and you like views, go there. Plenty of parkland in this town. Pretty much the whole city is surrounded by parks and botanical gardens and all that kind of stuff. So
It's huge. I love the palm trees in this place because it makes it feel very tropical.
even though we're nowhere near anything tropical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the tropics. For all those viewers that want to go to Adelaide, make sure you do not
Go with your dad. No, go on. What were you going to say?
don't take my advice.
Yeah.
I'm still new here.
Don't take my advice either. So I think we're walking into the university here. Maybe we should turn around and go back the other way. Maybe we should walk into the city.
It's a good idea.
Because whilst these parks are nice, a park is a park is a park. All right, we've got to watch out for cyclists. Let's go over this side of the... I nearly got run over about 4 times in Wellington. I don't want that to be a common theme of my recordings. See, the thing about it was, in Wellington there were a lot of roads that didn't look like roads. And then I realised I was in the middle of the road. And I was like, okay, cool. And it happened repeatedly, so hopefully not a repeat of that happening again here today.
Hope not.
Nah, we'll be right. This is definitely a footpath
I don't want
for
to be
those
a
playing at
witness.
home. This is definitely a footpath. So walking back into the city now, this is one of the main roads leading back into the city. If you keep going straight down, you hit Victoria Square. And it is just a very nice, pleasant city centre.
It feels kind of peaceful.
It is. I think the parkland surrounding the city adds to that kind of vibe. It does feel
I agree.
a little less hectic. And this is like Friday afternoon traffic too. It's not too bad, right? If this was Melbourne, it'd be,
10 times worse.
well, we'd be stuck. We'd be sitting there. We wouldn't be moving. So yeah, over there, casino. Pretty much the gateway to the city over there in the river. All right, here we are. So, things I know about Adelaide, the last time I was here was about 15 years ago, which is a long time ago. Doesn't feel much different, I do remember it. Glenelg is the tram line to the beach, although the tram is not currently operating. There is a tram down there in the city. In this city area, the trams are operating, but apparently the Glenelg beach tram is not at this point. So you have to take a bus for the next 6 months or so, depending on when you watch this video. So there's Semaphore Beach, there's Henley Beach, there's Port Adelaide. So the 2 big sports teams in Adelaide are the Crows, the Adelaide Crows, and Port Adelaide, Port Power. So Port Adelaide is another area that we can visit this weekend, and there's a lot of history in Port Adelaide. And it's going through like a Renaissance kind of period, I hear, like a bit of a rejuvenation after a few years of kind of being in a bit of decline. So that'd be cool to see. What street are we on here? That last one was North Terrace. What's this one? King William?
I think this is.
Now up here is Rundle Mall, which we talked about earlier, the big pedestrian mall of Adelaide. And there is a Haig's chocolate store up here. Started in Adelaide. We'll check it out up here, but basically designer chocolate, luxury chocolate. I mean, is luxury chocolate even a term?
I heard of luxury cars and luxury hotels, but I've never heard of luxury chocolate.
No. And here it is here, actually. Haig's Chocolate's up here. Check this place out. Ooh. Look at these chocolates here. That is a lot of chocolate. So we will come back later on for that one, I am very sure. At the very least, buy some gifts for our other children who are not here on this trip with us and are very upset about that. So this is Rundle Mall. This is the main mall in the city. Uniqlo, gotta have a Uniqlo. Maya Centre. A lot of people accuse Adelaide of being a bit boring. Actually, I like it a lot, to be honest. So this place hasn't changed much since I was last here. This looks basically the same as it always did. Up here, I'm pretty sure they've got some more art installations. Henry, you'd be excited to know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And as I said, Friday afternoon, plenty of people around. What do you think of this area?
It's very nice.
Good if you like shopping. There's the Apple store. So they've got every major store here that you could want or need. Your Meccas, your Uniqlos, your H&Ms, yeah, everything. David Jones, Sephora. The list goes on and on and on and on and on and on. Let's go to the balls. So I have a feeling up here, people call this the balls. What do you think of the balls?
They're huge.
Oh. Gotta have your Kmart. All right. So the city of Adelaide has all these little squares all the way through. And there's one up here. I think it's Wakefield Square or Hindmarsh Square. Hindmarsh Square. And like, you'll see what I mean about like lots of parkland, lots of places just to hang out. Henry just raised a valid question. Why do all the number plates in Adelaide start with the letter S? That is a very good question. I do not have the answer to that. South, maybe? Does it mean south or S for SA? You got to think that it's got something to do like that. But if not, let me know. Yep, so this is one of the squares and they kind of all litter the city. It's nice, I like it. There's Holy Moly across the road there. Holy Moly is basically in every city now, but it's a cool little mini putt-putt golf place. Learn to drive Mustang. Wow. I wish I could learn to drive in a Mustang. I wish I could just have a Mustang. I got my learners years ago. I just want a Mustang. If anybody would like to gift me a Mustang, reach out. So it's getting to like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So Adelaide is 30 minutes behind the east coast of Australia. One of the only areas in the world that are actually on half an hour time rather than an hour time. And it does feel a little bit later in the afternoon. So even that 30-minute change between Melbourne and Adelaide can feel a little bit wrong with the body clock, which is hilarious. That is pretty much every motorbike in Adelaide. All of them in the one street. Probably not. Just a bit of light humour there for your Friday afternoon, folks. This is the main square in the middle of the city. Let's not get run over. Not actually worried about getting run over. I am milking it a little bit. Okay, let's go. Now, if old enough to remember the TV show Married with Children, that almost looked a little bit like the opening titles. I'm not in Chicago though. That was literally the first thing I thought of though, Al Bundy. Welcome back. Saturday morning in Adelaide. Had a good night's sleep and now we're back in the trek. We're going to the Adelaide Zoo today and possibly out to Port Adelaide and Semaphore. We'll see how we go, but we're just wandering around town at the moment. And there's the Adelaide Central Market.
It's huge.
It's pretty massive. It's got pretty much everything in it. I was very impressed. I went through and I took some photos, so I'll share them up now. But yeah, like all your normal fruit and veg delicatessens, but there's some great meat places in there. There's French stuff. There's even like a cheese tart shop. You can even get your milk on tap, which is pretty cool. Yeah, there's just a whole bunch of really cool things in there, so definitely worth a look for sure. So we're just wandering back up to Victoria Square now. The sunset yesterday was amazing out to the west, so because of Adelaide and its location, the sunset is over the water, which is really nice. Something that you get on the bay in Melbourne, but not necessarily too many other places unless you're in Perth. So it was really cool to see the sunset out there yesterday. It was a very nice one. So plenty of work going on in the city today. It's about 9 a.m. We're just going to head up from Victoria Square now to the Adelaide Zoo. The Adelaide Zoo is famous for its pandas, so Henry's very keen to see the pandas. Adelaide reminds me of like a, it feels like a regional, it's interesting because in the city's quite big, but it feels like an overgrown regional town that's kind of just grown up. But it acts all grown up. Like there's plenty of like sirens at night, there's plenty of action. Like yesterday, and I'll go down there a bit later today on Saturday afternoon, but on Friday afternoon, like Hindley Street, which is like the red light district, that was buzzing full of people. Rundle Mall was packed. There was people everywhere, just enjoying the place. I mean, the weather's good, so plenty of buses around. There are trams. We're about to get on a tram shortly. Train lines go out to different suburbs. So we had a problem yesterday at the airport with the bus, only because it was a little bit confusing. There was a J1 and J2 bus to the city from the airport, and the J1 and J2 also go to two different other places. So it was trial and error to figure out which bus was which. It wasn't really clearly signed, and the bus drivers weren't too happy with me. They were a little bit cranky. Not going to the city. And I was like, oh, cool, all right. So, but you can now tap on with your credit card on buses, and they're rolling it out across the whole network, which is really cool. It makes it very easy, and it's available, valid, 2 hours without having to tap on again or tap off. And with the trams and the trains, you have to use the Metro card. So we've got the Metro cards. We're going to wander down to the Victoria Square stop now. So there's the tram. We'll get the next one.
Yeah.
It just runs through the centre of the city, otherwise up to the hospital and up to one of the inner suburbs. I think it's Theberton, Benithan Park, which is kind of north of the city. So the other thing I noticed last night is that because of the proximity of the airport to the city, there is a lot of aircraft noise in the city, like a lot. And it's quite constant. I'm pretty sure they've got a curfew because at night it was pitch quiet, but yeah, during the day, you hear planes taking off and landing like all the time, mostly taking off. Plenty of churches, definitely the city of churches. The Adelaide Hills are off that way, you probably can't see it, but The Adelaide Hills is another area that is very touristy, and you can go up there and you can see the whole city from vantage points on the hill, and at night I'm told it is quite spectacular, especially with the sun setting over the back of the city. All right, we've got our Metro card. Yay. Cool. Down here. All right, quick trip. Come on, man. I'm not even driving and I'm getting impatient with the drivers. That's unlike me. University across the street as we make our way on foot towards the zoo. Plenty of e-scooters around, plenty of people on the e-scooters. They've been a bone of contention in a lot of cities in Australia, being littered around the place, thrown into rivers, just treated not well. That is probably the tallest tower in Adelaide, I would say. Flinders University. State Library here. Tiffany & Co. My wife's favourite. I won't be going there today because I don't have any money.
Too many pigeons.
You gotta have the pigeons.
Can't have a city without pigeons.
You can't have a city without pigeons, Henry just said. That's so true. This shot here is literally just for my wife. So that's the South Australian Museum by the looks of it. AGSA, the AGSA, or the AGSA. Absolutely. Dad joke counter needs to be turned on for that one. Henry just said my dad jokes are pretty bad, and I agree with him. The Art Gallery of South Australia. Look at these beautiful buildings, aren't they nice? So the city stretches on, like it's a bit of a walk to go right around it. And the parkland here is immense. Adelaide is one of two planned cities in Australia, the other one being Canberra in the ACT. So a planned city means that it was designed before it was built, basically. So everything that was earmarked for parks or land or streets or anything like that was all planned out, mapped out, and it was all built to a plan. Obviously, other cities like Sydney and Melbourne, they kind of just grew on their own. There was some sort of planning involved with certain areas, but for the most part, it kind of just grew organically. Sydney growing from like horse tracks back in the day. But yeah, and Adelaide and Canberra were planned out properly, and it really shows here because the parkland is intense here. Like, there are parks next to parks next to parks next to parks. If you have a look at the map, you could almost walk around in parks around the entire city and not even step foot in the city. Just be in parkland constantly all day. Like, I was looking on the map yesterday, I think there's like 20 parks surrounding the city, and they're all big. They've all got their own vibe and walkways and their own kind of characteristics within the park to make them feel different to the next one. A lot of sandstone buildings too. A lot of sandstone housing. And then right next to your sandstone building, you've got big tall apartment tower right next to it. There's another plane taking off. Nice quiet Saturday morning. Not too hot. Probably about, I'm going to say 10 degrees as we walk through the University of South Australia campus. More parkland. Here's the river. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like there might have been 3 universities there. There might have been Flinders, the University of SA, and University of Adelaide. And here I was thinking it was all the one uni. That's a massive uni. Zoo. All right, back on the waterfront here. The River Torrens, and we have pelicans around. The zoo's up that way. City back that way. Yeah, so really enjoying it here. It's starting to get a bit overcast. I'm gonna head down into the city and we might head on out to one of the beach areas. Port Adelaide area maybe. We'll just see where it takes us. So we'll make our way to the railway station. So straight up ahead, the Adelaide Oval again. So, you're either a Crows supporter or a Power supporter, or a Port, you don't really call them Power, it's more Port supporter. AFL definitely the number one game in town. Back in the day, when the Super League formed in the NRL, this is talking years ago, they used to have the Adelaide Rams, but they did not last very long. Perth are getting an NRL team in a couple of years, but Adelaide, not just yet. Rugby league we're talking about. AFL is Aussie rules, for those not across it. So pretty much AFL is the dominant sport in WA, South Australia, Northern Territory, Tasmania, Victoria. Huge in Victoria. And the dominant football league in New South Wales and Queensland, Sydney, Brisbane, Gold Coast is the rugby league, NRL. And I typically like both. Different types of games, very different. Under the bridge downtown. Copyright Red Hot Chili Peppers, 1992. Blood Sugar Sex Magic album. Did I mention I worked in radio? My mind is a walking encyclopedia of music and bands and music knowledge that didn't get me anywhere, didn't make me much money in life, but it's all in the brain. Feel free to ask me anything, or just Google it. So we're wandering back into town now. Casino right in front. Where we were yesterday. That was a nice feed. It was good actually. Very nice vibe on the water. Walking up towards the railway station. Riverbank. I was about to say there's no lift, but there is a lift. We were just silly enough not to take it. On our way into the station. Festival Theatre. Festival Centre. It's a bit busy on game day for sure. Just waiting for our train at the station to take us to Outer Harbour, to Port Adelaide. Hello. We're in Port Adelaide. So about 20 minutes from the city on the train. Pretty quick train ride. Got the express, which was nice. It's a little bit cloudy and overcast, but we are definitely in Port Adelaide for sure. So we might just go for a wander now. The last time I was here was, I'm gonna say 15 years ago. And we only came through for a quick drive. I had a friend who lived here at the time. Last time I was here, the place was a little bit run down, but I've heard it's a bit better now. So we'll just go for a wander. Very, very old area, very heritage style buildings. Obviously lots of industry and factories and things like that. This is like the main shopping area, as you can see. Church. City of churches. Although I think that's referring more to the actual city. So you've got the Maritime Museum up here, you've got the Aviation Museum, you've got the Railway Museum. A lot of history here. Lots of pubs, I like that. And edging closer to the Port Adelaide River. This place has changed a bit since I was last here, except for that part. The last time I came, I remember it being a little bit abandoned. These old buildings down here. Now, if you're into historic buildings, this is where you come. If that's your jam, as the cool kids would say, this is the place. This is just really, really nice. Lots of sandstone. Nice little bars and restaurants up on the water here. We come up over here, I think this is the river. And we'll probably see some of the older port and some of the old factories up here. Left, keep left. Oh, keep left. Oh, I get it. Keep left. It looks like the market here of some description that's being redone. This area is still in a bit of repair mode. Does it smell like fish?
Yes, and salt.
Salt and fish, yeah. Actually, if you've ever been to Newcastle in New South Wales, this kind of reminds me of Newcastle a little bit. Another industrial city north of Sydney. It's kind of got that vibe about it. And here's the Port Adelaide River. There's the old bridge. Got some fishing boats out there. So they've done a lot of work from the last time. Still some work to do. And the Port Adelaide River continues out that way. Pancakes at the port. That would be a favourite for our family. You can go on a cruise the river.
It's amazing.
Pretty cool, hey? Salty Dog Seafood and Grill. Another pub. Oh, ice cream shop. Was a pub. Mix of the modern up there with the old school. Nice big wide streets, like the old towns of Australia. Moama comes to mind in New South Wales on the Murray River as having the widest roads I've ever seen in my life. So down here it looks to be still a little bit of a work in progress. The building looks empty. And then we've got some brand new modern apartments right behind it. I think we'll go to Pirate Life Brewery. That's down there. Definitely in progress, this part of town. Now, all of these buildings down here look like there is not much going on anymore. They love their horns here in Adelaide. I thought in Melbourne they liked their horns, but here, it is a horn city. They love it. Now look at this. Wow, look at this. There's like nothing going on here, is there? There's just nothing going on. All right, well, let's turn back, I reckon.
Yeah.
Some interesting art on that building. This is kind of the style of Port Adelaide that I remember from 15 years ago. Those apartments across the street definitely weren't there though. Yeah, that building has seen better days. All right, let's go down here. This looks good. Pirate Life Brewery, one of the bigger ones in Adelaide. Used to be independent, not independent anymore, but still good beers. Highly recommend. Okay, if I had have known beforehand, we would have taken the train to Port Dock, which kind of spits you out right in the middle of Port Adelaide, closer to actually Port Adelaide Station does. Port Adelaide Station was a bit of a walk down the other end. So Port Dock is the one if you want for all the bars and things like that, closer to the river at least. Or if you want the National Railway Museum, which is over here, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it comes on right now.
Oh, let's have a look. Wow, that's cool.
Wow.
I love it. I love that. Look, oh, look at those old trains.
Wow.
Whoa. Everybody just went, whoa. God, I thought maybe a derailment was about to happen. Luckily not.
Oh, phew. I've seen that in movies.
All right. So we're on our way to Semaphore Beach now. It's going to be about a half an hour walk, so we'll take a few shots along the way. Yeah, so it's good to have Henry, one of my teenage boys, with me. We don't get to spend much one-on-one time together because I have 4 children and one of them is 4 years old. Demands a lot of my time. So it was good to be able to come here with just one of the boys and hang out for a little bit. So yeah, still some old school places that are vacant, but there is a lot of work going on here.
Tons.
Tons of work and tons of refurbs. This one looks like it's going to get refurbed soon. What do you reckon?
I agree.
Let's have a look in here. Look at that. Whoa.
Oh.
So these were old shops that are just completely getting re-sorted out. So that bridge takes you out to the outer harbour, I do believe. And we're going to go over the river this way. So there's a bit of the old out there. You can see in the distance an old factory of some sort. SA Flour, Lion Flour. I feel like something big's about to happen here, but I wouldn't know. But when they've got it papered up like that, oh, there could be something good coming. Or it might just be papered up for no reason. You got an old rotten building here, and then you got brand new houses over the back. So we're about to walk over the Port Adelaide River. We've got brand new apartments and things like that right across. The mix of the old and the new again. We are not allowed to fish from the bridge, Henry.
Aww.
Henry is a very keen fisherman. Not very successful though, are we?
Nah.
You see the Adelaide Hills out in the distance from here. Back to Port Adelaide, back down that way. Now, I wish I had enough money to have a boat. If anybody would like to gift me one, drop me a line. Hey, gull.
Aww. I think it's telling
Hey!
all of his friends.
Hey, he likes us.
Oh.
Probably thinks we have food.
Which we just ate.
Yeah, none on us.
I had fish and chips before, so you probably could smell the fish from me.
Yeah,
Oh.
you probably ate his brother. Oh wait, he's a bird, not a fish. We'll edit that one out. What?
No, I'm just processing the
Processing the
drama.
really bad joke. All right, we're in Glanville Station down there. Glanville Hotel. Oh, I've had some laughs there. Some great times, great friends. No, I haven't. I've never been there before.
Aw.
It looks good though. All right, we continue on our trek to Semaphore. Nice little seaside suburb. Just had a pet butcher back there, which the butcher, it looked like an actual butcher shop, but the meat was all for dogs. Now that is luxurious for a dog who lives around here. Can't think of too many pet-only butchers back home.
It's like a dog's stairway to heaven.
It's like the dog's stairway to heaven. That's pretty good. I love these sandstone houses around here. They don't build them like they used to, springs to mind. Now I sound like an old man when I say that, but I think it's true. And what feels like a whole day of walking, but really only about 20 minutes, we are finally seeing the glimpse of the beaches. So I just realised we're in Semaphore South, so Semaphore Beach. Semaphore Jetty is a bit further up that way. So St Vincent Gulf. Not too many surf waves or anything like that. And there's plenty of suburbs with beachside. There's Glenelg, there's Henley Beach, there's West Lakes, there's Grange, Semaphore. The list keeps going on and 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 on. White sandy beaches of Adelaide. And the sun setting out here in the afternoon would be even nicer. But we're a little bit early for that. Here we go. Some nice waterfront property. And they've got a little train line here that goes along the water, which is cool. There's the track. And it just goes up and down the beach, which I think is really cool. We can cross over onto the beach and have a look. And I'm wearing my Vans shoes again. Not the best
Hey,
footwear. Oh, is that a pelican I see out there?
Oh, wow.
There's a big ship out there too.
Oh, yeah.
If our dog was here, Gizmo, he would not like that pelican.
Oh.
He once got a pelican fly into the backyard of my dad's house in Phillip Island. And I don't think he wanted to go back out there by himself again for quite a few years. That pelican really traumatized poor old Gizmo. Our dog is also a little bit of an idiot, so, you know.
Good, lovable idiot.
A lovable idiot. Henry's on fish alert. I don't really know what happened here, but it looks like there might have been a bit of quite a lot of erosion in the sand here. So Henry has found himself an assortment of dead fish on the beach, including a flathead.
Look.
I'll tell you what, Henry is in his mad element here with this fish. He found another flathead and he's going to chuck it off the wharf here. All right, so this is awesome. I love this. It's nice, isn't it? Was it worth the walk?
Yes. Oh, stingray.
Yeah, where?
Over there.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Oh, actually, no.
No. False alarm. He thought it was a stingray. Oh, it's just seaweed. Water's calmer than I thought it would be. I guess it's because it's a gulf and not the actual sea. Look at that. Outer harbour that way. Semaphore back that way. Where are you going to chuck that thing, by the way?
I want to yeet it at the end of the dock.
At the end of the dock?
Yeah.
You're going to yeet it at the end of the dock. All right, we get to the end of this dock, then what? We turn around and we go back to the city. We go to the very edge of as far as we can go, and then we go back. Quite a fair way out. Quite a fair way out here. So, hilariously, battery went dead right before I got to the end of the wharf, about 5 meters. Anyway, it's up there. You get the drift. Oh, that's the funniest thing. It's the story of my life. Tech problems. Oh dear. Anyway, we're going to wander back on down into Semaphore proper in a minute and then make our way back to the city. Henry's had his fun with his fish. We're all good to go. All right, now we're back into town just at the end of our wharf experience. It's a nice little fort up there across the street there.
Oh, wow.
So this is the Esplanade. There's some old cars cruising around today. All right, we'll just wait for these lights. Will they ever change?
Yeah.
They did. I'm not impatient, am I? RSL Club across the street. The Fed. Let's go get fed at the Fed. On our way back to the Glanville train station through the main street of Semaphore. What are they showing here? Old cinema. So that's the coastal trip. So I kind of wanted to do something different because I'd never been up this way before. And I'm glad we did. It was really nice. Look at some property to buy. To buy property, you need money. Ah. That's something I don't have. Feels like a large country town, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I can tell all of my friends at school that my dad is a YouTuber.
The brain. And all your stay strong. All your love rolls down. Rest as Tennessee whistling.
How annoying was that?
Very annoying.
Topper Mall, right in the middle of the city. And Saturday night, there's a Port game on tonight, so for one night only, I am a Port supporter. Probably a very good time to do it, taking a trip down to Hindley Street. Just checking out what's going on before a big night out. Now, Hindley Street, people like to call it the red light district, but I don't even know if that's true. This is where people like to go and hang out. I mean, it's definitely got a reputation from back in the day, but whether that's the same now, we'll go and check it out and see. It seems to be quite busy in town tonight. Hi, how's it going? Oh, all good, thank you. I do actually want to go there, but I can't right now. I just missed the light. Right before the sun goes down. Take this time to say like, subscribe, notifications on, hit the bell. I don't even know what that means, but Henry told me it sounds good, so I'll do it. Say it. Yeah, and thanks for joining me in Adelaide, and thanks for joining Henry in Adelaide. He's had a great time, he loves it. It's been 15 years. Lots of bars and stuff going on down here, so we're getting down to Bank Street across there. Takes you back down towards the railway station. Might come back up there. And this is Hindley Street here. Police station, getting ready for a big night out, big Saturday night out. Good on you guys. Lots of bars, lots of clubs. Now, the only other place I didn't go to was Chinatown. There is Chinatown around here too. It's kind of down the other side of the city. And see that every day. Pubs everywhere. You like a pub? This is the place. Sun is definitely on the way down now. Hindley Street Music Hall. There you go, Crazy Horse. So, final thoughts on Adelaide. Aside from game night and the buzz of Hindley Street and Rundle Mall, it surprised me that as a whole, it's been so quiet. Like, even the train to the city from Port on, like, a game day for a Port game seemed quite thin. Port's still in a state of rejuvenation, some good things happening there, but I can't think of another area in Australia that is so, like, ghostly. It was surreal, but, I mean, they're working on it. There's heaps of construction going on there, so I'd love to see it in another 5 years or so from now. Tourism was on the go with Adelaide, making a real big play for big events too, like AFL's Gather Round, where they play, you know, every game here for a weekend. I mean, that's great stuff for this place. It brings so many people into town. My take, if you live in a bigger style city, you might struggle with the change of pace coming here. It might live up to those boring accusations. All right, Bank Street, let's take a short little stroll up Bank Street. Starting to get a bit busy around here. People in town before the game. This time I'm not on the road, but other people are, for once. Now I am on the road, but I'll quickly get off because we know our track record. So now we're back up on Hindley. I'm going to turn left now, go up King William Street, back up to Victoria Square. Who's this guy? Awesome. It's hanging out. If you're looking for somewhere like less hectic without completely moving out into the bush, it could be the right size and vibe for you. It definitely doesn't have the big city problems that indeed Melbourne has, which is enticing. Crime's not kind of evident as much. There's less graffiti, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, I love it here. It's different, it's historic, and it's clean and friendly. Definitely be back here, hopefully, in less than 15 years again. Cheers all for hanging out with us. Like, subscribe. Catch you next time.